Just wait for a second. Alright. Okay. We are going to go ahead and start. So, Scatterplots, question number 1 said, which graph represents a positive correlation? Natalie?
C.
Good. C. Graph A, what correlation is that one going?
Negative.
Okay. When it's going down and to the right, we know we have a negative correlation. B is what type of correlation, Riley? Yeah, it's a no correlation.
No association.
We already said this is our positive correlation. What do we call D?
Unassociated.
What is D?
Unassociated.
Nope.
Oh. Curve. The curve point.
It's a curve one, but what's that called?
Curve.
Caden? Very good. It's non-linear.
We have to learn that.
You will need to know these. So non-linear means it just doesn't form a straight line. We can't make a line that fit on it. Number 3, the graph shows the, it should say weight, of dogs and the time it took the same dogs to complete an agility course in seconds. Which shows the line, did I skip number 2? Oh, I'm sorry, let's do number 3 and number 2. Which shows the line of best fit for the data? So out of our 4, which one do you think had the line of best fit, Bryce?
I said C.
C is correct. What is wrong with A?
Everything.
What specifically on it? Braden?
It's like not touching any of the dots.
It's not-
It's too far up.
Good, it's too far above. All the dots are on the bottom side. Remember, our little data points want to be on pretty much even on both sides of the line. What's wrong with B then? It's too far below. Now all the dots are. Well, what's wrong with D? Because I got about the same amount of dots. Our data points are almost the same on both sides. Good. One of the biggest things on our line of fit, we want all the dots to be as close to the line as we could. And so this one, no, these dots are not as close. We could have easily went into the middle there. Okay, let's go to 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip it. Said Jared collected data on the ages and heights of a random sample of elementary school students. If he plots the data on a scatter plot, what relationship would he most likely see between the ages of height, between age and height? So I would have really quick, just so I could visualize it, just said age, height. I have an elementary student. One, I know every year they're going to get older. So we know we're going to keep going. They might not act older, but they will still be a year older. So we're getting older. What about the height? What would we suspect in elementary kids? Tyler? Huh? Yeah, so even if I just chose myself when I was in kindergarten, then I should have been in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. Now, everyone might not be the same because we might have some that are, hey, I'm short, I stayed the same, but all of a sudden I started growing tall. So somehow we would think that we would have a positive correlation. So your answer would have been C. Just know that anytime on a math test or math or even in real life, you need to draw that visual so you can see it. Go with that. Okay, I really want to make sure we understand that everyone should get about the same answer. Our answer should be very, very similar on number 4. The reason is, usually when we make a line of fit in equation, it's a little bit if we drew it different. Here, they drew the line of fit and they gave us our point. It said Jill wants to know if she's improving on her skill on the cello. She created a scatter plot and drew the line of best fit. If she uses the points 2, 8, and 5 and 1.5 from her line, what equation would represent the line of best fit? Okay, here's what I want to make sure that we understand. 1, here's her line of best fit. Okay, I have our line of best fit. Once you draw your line of best fit, you can ignore all the data points. I wish, like, if I did this computer, I could click on it and they just all disappear for a second. Because I do not care about my data points anymore to write my equation. So do not be looking at your data points and saying I have to choose one of those. You don't care about them right now. What I will do is I'm going to start on the left. I'll go to my line. I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to follow my trend line all the way down, my line of fit, until I can say, hey, if I stop here on my line, I can tell you exactly what that coordinate is. So when I was on this red line, and I'm coming down, there's a couple of them I think I would have chosen, but they told me that she said she stopped here, and she said this is about 2.8. So she told me my first point I'm going to use, everyone should write this down, is 2.8. And then my second point I used, she continued to go down. She said, hey, I know this one. She said 1.5. Okay, what I would like someone to do for me, well, first answer this question, and then I'll have them come up and show me how to do this one. What is the thing? What do I have to do with my 2 points? What is my goal? Andrew? We have to find the slope. So because I have 2 points, Andrew, can you write the equation, what it should be up on the board? How do I find slope, Andrew? Go ahead and write it up there, bud.
y2 minus y1 equals x. Well, and then x2 minus x1.
Perfect. y2 minus our y1 all over x2 minus x1. Alright, so Andrew went ahead and wrote up 1.5 minus 8, and that is all over 5 minus 2. Perfect. How did he know which one was y2 though? How did I know to make 1.5 1.5 y2? How come we didn't do 8 minus 1.5? Charles? Say it again. No, we didn't divide yet. How do I know which one's which? I mean, I know this is x and I know this is y. I know this was x and that's y. But why didn't I do 8 minus 1.5, Brandon? We're going left to right. Which point came first? This one. So that's 1, 1. This was our second point. 2, 2. Now, what is 1.5 minus 8? Nathaniel? Negative 6.5. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Yeah, we're good. Now, I had a couple people come up to me yesterday and say, I got a negative 6.5. Is that possible? Is that okay? Is it okay to say my slope is negative 6.5 over 3?
No, because it doesn't matter.
It is. It's okay. Why? What is my correlation on my graph right now?
Negative.
My correlation is a negative. So if I have a negative correlation and a negative slope, I have to write it with a negative. Okay? After I do my slope, what do I have to find next? The y-intercept. Y-intercept is our b. So I go back to my line of fit and I'm going to follow it. And it looks like it is right there. So this is 10, 11, 12. Who can write, now that we've told you those parts, who can write our equation up on the board for me? All right, Natalie, think you can do it?
I'm going to write it under because
Is that one hole?
No, it was the sheet I gave you yesterday. Y equals 6.5 over 3 plus 12. What?
Wait.
Has to be negative
I just done a different.
6.5.
I can't see over your head.
Hmm?
Just not the X.
Good.
Dang, that's gosh. Why did you call on me?
Hey, you did really good on this
No,
stuff.
I have it on my paper.
So, 9 catch Cohen, negative 6.5 x plus 12. Alright. Let's see if someone can do this for me. We're gonna kind of work together on this. So, it says the table below. Number 5. The table below shows the cost of flying from San Francisco to other cities in the U.S. There's a relationship between the distance you are flying and the cost of your plane ticket. The data from the table is represented in the scatter plot. Okay? So they already did this for me. Huge hit. If you're ever taking a test, or your MAP test, or your NWA, or any other thing, do you see how they did the scatter plot? They have it already mapped out for you. So if you have to map one out, they always use these questions. You can go back to it to see how did they do it to help you with your question. So, anyways. A, draw the line of best fit and pick 2 good points from the table that are on your line. So we're going to do this together. I know you have yours, but let's look at mine because I'm going to call some people up to do this. I'm going to still use red, and I'm going to try and put my line here. So my line of fit, come on. Maybe somewhere like that.
Chill with it.
I just want to punch the board.
Oh.
Come on.
Go through the 0.
Try to go through the 100. There we go. Okay. So let's use mine. We are going to write the equation. So I'm going to ask a couple people to come up and see if they can do this. First, who can come up? I know yours might be a little bit different, but looking at this, who thinks based off our line of fit that we just put up on the board, who can come up and circle, we'll choose with purple,
Me.
the 2 points on the line of fit that you would use, and then write them down. So I'm going to want you to circle them, and then write out what is their coordinate in order. So this is x, y, x2, y2. Alright. Braden, come do one, and then Colin do the second one. Since you guys won the competition yesterday.
Yeah, I'm smart.
I feel like it's no.
That's not purple. Are you done?
Oh, no touch. That hurt you. Did you circle 2?
He wouldn't shut up.
Alright, so Cohen, write yours down. Hold on, let Brandon let him write his. What is your coordinate, Cohen? And Cohen's going to write his first because his point is the first one going from the left side to the right side.
250 and is that like 125?
Oh, I got a spot for it. I even made it nice and pretty for you. Crap, you were going to go right below and make my board look nasty.
That's
What?
horrible
Is
handwriting,
that
but
what?
yes,
What does that say?
I can't
I
write it.
really can't tell what that is. It's like the form glass.
We need to make if he moves his big head, you could see the board.
No.
Sorry.
You?
I thought it was supposed to be one thing.
Oh my god, are you done yet?
There we go. So,
Oh my god.
first, Cohen's point.
Wait, no, I need to erase that. You're bad.
So the first point, Cohen's on the left side. You see here, so it's at 250, and we have 100. Skip a line 150. So they're increasing our scale by 25. So it would have been 250 and 125. Braden, what did you put down?
Let's see the handwriting.
I don't know what that means.
What's our y-axis? What would the y be?
200.
200. All right, so write that down, and I'll help you with the x.
Hey,
Okay.
mine's better than yours.
I did not like on this graph, and I'm going to help with this, but I'll do that one. I did not like how they did this, because this 250 went to this one, 500 went to this line, 750 went to this line, 1,000, 1,250. That's not a very good job. When they drew this graph, they did a really poor job, because it was hard for the person reading it to understand where did these go. It took me a while. I had to kind of break it down and try to figure it out. So they go up by 125. This one, though, Braden's point is at 1,000. So, based off that, there's our 2 points. Who can come up and find our slope?
Sorry, you're a little sloppy.
Rylan, do you think you can do it? Find the slope.
That'd be funny.
We got our 2 points, 250, 125, 1,000, and 200.
I'll try. I want to do it. No. Great.
Smart person.
I'll explain.
Charles tries to do it. Because I want you guys to watch. I want you to give feedback on it. I don't want you being talking out and being annoying. Okay, so he's putting 2.
Wait! Am I doing this right?
Alright, who's going to help? Charles, step there. You can draw. You can write. Who can tell us? Go ahead and pick up the pen. Switch colors. Who can tell us what is the equation first? Riley, what was the equation?
y2 minus y1 x2 minus.
Okay, y2 minus y1. Charles, which one's our y2?
Is it one?
This one?
Which one?
200.
Nope.
The 200.
This one.
There you go. So let's write down 200. And Rylan, we're doing y2 minus, so 200, Charles, minus what?
125.
125, our y1, so 125. And then you're going to want to put it all over. Okay, what goes underneath to find slope again? Damari? That's it. What's the equation for it?
Oh, 1,000 minus
1,000 minus 250.
Good. So 1,000 minus 250. That is our x2 minus our x1.
I know you asked for
All right. Put equals, Charles. You're being my Vanna White up here.
What?
Vanna White's the one that always sits on the board and does all the work. Alright, so what is going to be 200 minus 125? Who can tell Charles what should he write? Braden? Okay, so Charles, 200 minus 125 is 75. And then what is our 1,000 minus... I can't see because his head's there.
75 with the 0 on it.
What? 750. So,
75.
But on this, 750.
No, not 76. No,
That's fine.
Oh,
Oh,
that's you. No, there you go.
What are you putting on?
What is it?
good job, Charles. Who can go up and simplify this now?
Divided by O. How do you know? Divided by
Yeah, who has straight A's right now?
You can do it by yourself.
Me.
Or I can do it really
Tyler,
easy.
let's have you go up, bud.
Tyler, you got this.
Okay, that's honestly let's say
Now,
I can do it really easy on one. You don't even have
we have.
Can I just yell it out? It's never getting
Nope.
mad.
Alright. Tyler. Boys, girls, listen up so we get through this. I have 75 over 750. Now, Tyler, what do you notice about that fraction?
Oh. Turn into a fraction?
Oh, shh, I'm asking Tyler right now. I'm not asking people to shout out things. What do you notice when you first look at that? Really close to the same number, right? I see a 75 and I see 750. So, we are going to divide by that 75. What would be 75 divided by 75? Okay, so that's going to be your numerator. All over. And what is 750 divided by 75? No. Oh, no. You told me 75 divided by 75 is 1, right?
No.
750 is 10 times bigger than 75. So it'd be what? There you go.
Good job, man.
So, we have simplified it to 1/10. Caden, can you come do my y-intercept for me? Come on up here. Let's look at the one that we have up here. And let's use blue, so we have a different color. Alright, so Caden, can you write right next over there, b equals, because b is going to be our y-intercept. Just down a little bit. Right there. B equals, and Caden, look at our red line. Where does it cross our y-axis? Huh? Nice job, Caden. Y-intercept is 100. So, James, can you write our equation for me?
Where are you? Shut up.
Where were you? Oh, you just came here? Okay. I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have y equals, going, 1/10 x plus 100. Perfect. That is how we write our equation. Now, I'll even give us a question on this. Okay. You guys did very well on this. We are still got enough time to finish this last question. Let's see if we can do it together. I'm going to start it though. Okay, here's why I want to start it, because it's a little bit tricky on one thing. The table below shows the sales of a flour company from the years 2007 to 2012. Answer the questions about this table. Graph the data on the scatter plot and draw the line of fit for the data. Write an equation, and then they're going to ask us an interpretive question. Here's the thing. When I did my x, I'm going to do it a special way. I'm just going to change it just a little. Remember, when we use a scatter plot, we want to use as much of our graph as possible. So because of that, when I look at this, it says write equation for the line of best fit of the data. X represents the years since 2007. So I went over here to my data right here, and I made this a 0. I said in 2007, instead of writing down on my x-axis 2007, I'm going to say 0. In 2008, that's 1 year after it. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then 5 years. If you still wrote 2007, 2008, and so on your bottom axis, it will be okay. You know, it won't lose points, but I'm going to show you why I'm doing it this way. It kind of makes it easier when you're interpreting it. Now, when I do this, I know I have 12 spots, and I only have to use 5 of them. So that means I can skip count by 0.5. That my scale could be a half. So when I do this, I'm going to say 0, 0.51, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, and 6. Notice, I stretched my X out. If you did not, and you did, first line was 0, and then you said 2007, the next line was 2008, 2009, that is okay. It's just your graph will be zoomed out more. So your line, all your points will be closer together. We're just, look, it's like I'm taking the graph and holding it farther away from you. When I skip the lines, I'm just looking at it closer. Okay? What's the biggest thing? After I went ahead and put my scale on here, what do I have to make sure I do?
Smile.
Huh?
Label.
Smile.
Label.
Label.
They said the Bible.
What is this?
Years.
Okay. If you wrote 2007, 2008, you would just label it as years. My label has to be a little bit different. Because are we in year 1? Is this year 2?
Yes.
What is this? Years?
This is year 2000.
What am I talking? When I say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is talking about years past.
Years of. I don't know.
There.
What?
I'm telling you years since 2007. If you made yours and said 0, 1, 2, 3, your x-axis is actually telling us the years since 2007. If I did, I just said years, that makes it sound like we're in year 1.
2.
We're in year 2. We don't want to do it. If you made 2007, 2008, you can label yours as years. Here comes the tricky one. Our Y. Sales in thousands. How do we find the scale, Alejandra? Okay, our range. How do I find range?
Oh, you did the divide.
Hold on. Alejandra?
You take the largest number and the smallest number, and then you minus it.
Okay, so we had 420 minus 305 is 115. And then once we take our range, 115, we do what with it? Divided by what?
12.
Why 12? Does it always, would it always be 12?
Because that's not always.
No.
No.
Because why, Bryce?
Not always.
Oh, hold on, boys and girls. I got too much talking, and Bryce is telling us an answer. Why again, Bryce? Our graph had 12 lines on it. So we're divided by that. And I think that came out to 9.538. And we'd want to round that to 10. Now, when I write my scale, Andrew, follow along with us.
Yes, sir.
When I write my scale, what is the first line going to be?
300.
Good. It's your lowest term. Our lowest was 305, so I'm going to say 305.
Make a squiggly line
Why?
because then it goes on the so we don't want to pass numbers you pass.
Good. It shows that we did not follow the scale. We have missing data. We took our graph and we're scrunching it down to show all our info. Now I'm going to count my tens. Me personally, I don't like writing the number on each line. I just feel like it gets too close. Some people like it because it's easier for them when they're looking to look at it and see the numbers already. I don't. So what I do is, this is 305, 315, 325, 335, 345, 55, 365, 375, 385, 395, 405. I still follow our scale, it's just I'm just labeling every other one. Speaking of labeling, I then have to label this as
Y-axis.
sales. It tells us right here what it is. Sales in thousands. And what's the next thing I'm missing?
The dots.
Nope.
The title.
Title. What is this scatter plot of?
Oh, flower sales.
Yeah, right here. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and just put in my coordinate points here. In 2007, it was 305. In 2008, was 330. 345. 370. 395.
Your first yelling one is
420. So this is 45, so it's right off my chart. Okay, after we've plotted our points, we have to go ahead and put in our line. Really close to having a linear line. Let's see where I'm at. Guys.
You guys are so immature.
You guys are so immature.
Why are you making that noise too?
I didn't even say this. It doesn't mean that I said it.
Up. We are almost out of time. So let's finish this up.
Scale.
What?
Scale.
What do we have to do now? Now that I have my line of fit.
Write your equation.
Alondra? What do I have to do now that I have my line of fit?
You have to do dots.
Guys, you're not just shouting out. Okay, 2 points that are on my line of fit that I'm going to use to find my slope. If I look at mine, I'm going to say this one's right in the middle, and I'm going to say this one. I just see that one's more in the middle. So, mine are going to be at 1.5. I don't want to use a 0.5. Let's see if I can find something a little bit different. Wow. Guys, put the ruler away. You're just playing with it. So, we could use this. My points would be 1, 325. And my second point was at 370. Okay, I would call you guys up and have you do this for me, but since we only have about 3 minutes, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this one, and then I'm going to tell you what I want you to work on. So, Charles, we'd have 370 minus 325. This would give me 45 over 3, which does simplify to 15. So my slope is 15. Y equals 15x. Rylan. And I look at my graph and I'm crossing right about 305.
Whoa, going too fast, sir.
Now, I'm not gonna go over the last question because we're right at it in your class. But for tomorrow, big reminder.
We have a test.
Test. Bring your notebook.
Are we allowed to use it?
Hopefully-
The notebook?
Say that.
Can we bring our notebooks for notes? Stop talking, bruh.
Bring your notebook and have things glued into it.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Okay? Make sure you have your notebook with all your notes in it.
I did.